Welcome back to AM Northwest. If you have an old dog, how do you know when it's time to say goodbye? Here to share a pet's perspective on how to navigate that difficult time, we welcome intuitive animal communicator and the host of the podcast, Talking with the Dogs, Liz Murdoch. Liz, great to talk with you. Tell me about, first of all, when you knew you could understand what dogs were thinking.
I discovered I could intuitively communicate with animals in kindergarten.
Wow.
When my family adopted a poodle named Wiki, and I just knew things about him. When he preferred playing with certain tennis balls, I knew when he liked playing dress up. As an adult, I understood my dog Sam as we worked doing animal-assisted therapy. I grew my abilities evaluating dogs for rescue dogs for adoption. And then I wanted to help other people with their pets. So I trained in animal communication, learning how to relay specific details so that it could make a difference. So it's a natural ability that I've developed over many years through different situations.
Wow, that's incredible. So we want to talk about when your dog gets older. It's such a tough time for owners of dogs to decide, and they know maybe the dog isn't doing well. And you have two older dogs, don't you?
Yes, I do. Honey and Wolfgang.
And how old are they?
Wolfgang just turned 15. He's a black lab, and
Wow.
Honey is a 17-year-old Chihuahua in January.
Okay, so give me then what we should go about thinking when it comes to the time when we have to say goodbye.
I know. Well, if you're hearing or thinking maybe it's time from a vet or a friend, or it's nudging you inside, just acknowledge it's a difficult decision and it's filled with uncertainty because nobody wants to feel that they've let a pet go too soon. A vet can give guidance, but still know the final judgment is yours. If they're recommending euthanasia and are suggesting it, which happens, oh, we can do it today, ask first off how to keep your pet comfortable so you can explore options. Then ask about alternative time slots that are available and ask about other providers in the area if the vet schedule doesn't align with yours. And it's good to even do this a month ahead of time just to get the information. The goal is that with even a day or two to sort things out, it just helps you get to a point where you know and you're confident about what's best for you and your pet.
So let's say you decide, yeah, it's time. Are there alternatives besides having it done at the vet's office?
Yes. Sometimes the vet's office is the best place, but people don't realize that you can often choose. Home euthanasia may be a better option based on your pet's mobility, their pain, and if you just want to be in a more comfortable place. Even if home euthanasia sounds expensive, I tell people, look into it, explore it in small towns. It can be available, and it's not much more, especially when it eases that stress of having to move your dog.
Yeah, it does seem like the dogs get extra stressed when you take them somewhere else, adding on to the problems that they're probably not feeling very good. When you've probably had to put a dog down yourself, what is it that did you talk to your dog? Did you say you're going to be, I'm kind of curious what the conversation was.
So I actually did a whole episode on that. But what happened is we were at the vet and they were like, we can do it here. And I had other people and they were like, no. So I made those calls. Teddy, when home euthanasia, the first person I said, no, this is not a match. The second person came to the house and I said, Teddy, Dr. Kevin is here to help you. And he got up and walked over and laid down at the vet's feet.
Oh my gosh.
The vet was in tears.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we work and the animals know we're really trying to do what's best, Teddy, he got up and laid at his feet.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I know oftentimes, too, the other dogs in the family know that something's wrong. Is it a good idea to make sure that the other pet family members are there as well?
So everything depends on a situation. In my experience, yes. Now, one dog was not interested. Well, he just watched. The other one, she climbed over Teddy's body after he had gone, sniffed him. We let her do that. And so dogs can be different, even in the same family.
You talk about getting the pet's perspective. So how would we know the pet's perspective if we're not an intuitive?
Well, I ask people to tune into yourself. That knowing when you named your dog is a good start. Most people, I say, do you remember how you knew that your dog needed the name, Wolfgang.
Right.
And most people will say yes. I say, well, go back to that knowing. What would your dog want? So, they can find people who like me, but be careful, but you want to get specific details. What would my dog want? And knowing that about their physical condition, do they want another treatment? I had a cat, she didn't want a kidney treatment. I knew that.
Yeah.
You find out whatever you can, and you include other people who know your pet, and you just try and get to a place of knowing, and it helps decide what's right for your dog. I heard dogs say, I don't want another vet treatment. I want to lay in the sun. I saw a cat show me an image that she wanted to go down by a window, and when they took her there, she passed away in her sleep. So you can try it on your own. You can find someone, but it's getting to that place of inner knowing.
Okay, I've got to ask you this question because I've had friends who've put their dogs on chemo when the dog had cancer, and my question always is, the dog doesn't know why it's in pain from the chemo treatments. They, unlike a human, doesn't know there's light at the end of the tunnel if they continue this. They're just in pain. What are your thoughts about that?
So my dog Sam, we did chemo and radiation. He was 6. It worked. He lived to the age of 13. He was so calm. We talked to him that when they did x-rays on him, they didn't need to sedate him or anything because he was, he'd grown up with me. But when they know and trust, their pain is sometimes we're projecting is the biggest thing, is that make sure you're not projecting.
Okay.
And we left up there, so it's figuring out what's right in your situation.
In your podcast, do you take listeners' questions and stories? How does your podcast work?
I do. I love to have their questions. People will email me. Clients will say, oh, I love this episode. Can you do one on such and such? So that's how it usually works. I've just started it on YouTube where they can also message me.
Yeah.
So there's a variety of ways.
Absolutely fascinating. We want to tell everyone the podcast, again, is titled Talking with the Dogs. We're going to put a link from our website to yours, Liz, at the end of our show. Liz, thank you so much.
Great to be here. Thank you.